first time. They all seem to be captivated about the same thing. We have this green old trunk in our home, and all of them want to know what's inside the trunk. What do you think they think is inside the trunk? Treasure, of course. I let them open up the trunk, and guess what they find? A big pile of blankets. Do you think they were excited about a big pile of blankets? Of course not. They were hoping it was a big pile of treasure, which leads me into today's story. Hi Thrive kids, Stephanie Mattiuzzo back with you today for story time. Whether you're joining us from home or you're in the sanctuary at Mayfair Bible Church, we are so delighted that you are joining us, and I hope that you are thriving in Jesus. Our story today is Jesus telling a story, and who knows what that's called? That's called a parable. And when Jesus tells stories, it's for a reason. He wants to teach us something great about God, about himself, and about us. Let's get into it. Our story, of course, is called Treasure Hunt, and the story comes from Matthew 13, and it's about hidden treasure. One day, Jesus was telling people about God's kingdom. God's kingdom is wherever God is king, Jesus told them. It's wherever God is in charge. It's where he fills your heart up with his forever happiness, and you stop running away from him, and you love him. But sometimes people couldn't understand things very well. So Jesus helped them by telling them stories called parables. Jesus said God's kingdom is like a hidden treasure. And then he told them this story. Once upon a time, there was a man working in a field digging. So there he is digging. But what he doesn't know is that in that field, there is buried treasure. So dig, dig, dig. Clink, clank, clunk. Oh, his shovel bumps into something hard. Hello, what's this? He picks it up, dusts it off. It's a chest. It's rusted and locked, but he pries it open. What he sees inside takes his breath away. Beautiful, glittering, gleaming, twinkling, sparkling, precious jewels. It's a treasure chest. He wants that treasure. He needs to get that treasure. He must have that treasure somehow. He quickly buries the treasure again, runs home, and sells everything he has. He takes the money from the sale and goes and buys that field. Now he owns the field and the treasure that is buried in it. He runs back and digs up the treasure again. Jesus said coming home to God is as wonderful as finding a treasure. You might have to dig before you find it. You might have to look before you see it. You might even have to give up something you have to get it. But being where God is, being in his kingdom, that's more important than anything else in all the world. It's worth anything you have to give up, Jesus told them. Because God is the real treasure. God had a treasure too, of course. A treasure that was lost long, long ago. What was God's treasure? His most important thing? The thing that God loved best in all the world? God's treasure was his children. It was why Jesus had come into the world, to find God's treasure and pay the price to win them back. And Jesus would do it, even if it cost him everything he had. So in our story today, we kind of go through the fact that finding treasure is so incredible and important. The man in our story gave up everything. He took probably all of the money that he had to get this land because he knew the treasure was in it. His friends may have thought he was crazy for doing this, for buying this piece of property, but he knew what was there. He knew that this treasure was there. And it reminds us that the most important treasure to God is his children. So God would give up anything to get his children back. And that's exactly what he did. He did that when Jesus went to the cross for us. Jesus gave up his life so that we could be with him and enjoy God forever and be in his kingdom. Being in the kingdom of God is as wonderful as finding hidden treasure. It's worth anything you have to give up because Jesus is the real treasure. So what did you discover today about Jesus from our story? Jesus was willing to give up everything to get God's treasure back. And of course we know that God's treasure is his children. Well, friends, that's our story for today. And above all else, I hope that you are treasuring Jesus as you thrive in him. Bye!